Ever wondered if your investment strategy is really keeping up? Or if that fancy alkaline water you bought is actually doing it? Because today, we're going to get through some of that noise.
Yes.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We aim to bring you the sharpest consumer insights fast, so you can be truly moment-long. Today, we're diving into a batch of commentary from the consumers.app website. It's their Consumers 360 News commentary from July 4th, 2025. Our mission: pull out the most important nuggets, the key takeaways from these different headlines. Let's find out what's really happening with, well, everything from our money to our mental health, even our hair. Ready? Okay, first up, let's talk digital dollars, crypto. This headline comes from Analytics Insights, Top Crypto Indices of 2025, a smart way to invest without picking coins. So what's the big shift here? How are these indices changing the game for investors?
Right. Well, the core idea is that crypto investing is growing up a bit, moving beyond just picking, individual coins and hoping for the best. These crypto indices, they're basically baskets of different cryptocurrencies, all bundled into one investment.
Like an ETF for stocks.
Exactly like that. It gives you diversified exposure, spreads the risk. You don't have to be an expert trying to guess the next big coin. Think of things like the Token Metrics, AI indices, or the Bitwise 10 Crypto Index Fund. Those are good examples.
And AI is involved now, too. How does that work? Is it like having a robo-advisor for crypto?
Sort of, yeah. These AI-driven indices, like the ones from Token Metrics you mentioned, use artificial intelligence to crunch a ton of data. They analyze market trends, volatility, growth potential, all that stuff. Then the AI optimizes how the assets are allocated within that index. It's making data-driven decisions.
To maximize returns and minimize risk, presumably.
Precisely. It aims to bring more, let's say, strategy and maybe a bit more stability to a market that's famously volatile.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, the source also mentioned detecting crypto wash trading. That sounds important for, trust. Why is that significant?
Oh, it's huge for market integrity. Absolutely crucial. Wash trading is where someone basically trades with themselves to fake volume and make an asset look more popular than it is. There's a new framework now, apparently, that looks at real-time liquidity changes.
Liquidity change?
Yeah, like sudden jumps or weird patterns in how easily an asset can be bought or sold. It helps spot these manipulative practices. Detecting this stuff is vital. It protects investors like you from fraud that can really distort the market. And this connects to a bigger trend, really. The way AI and blockchain are integrating. We're seeing projects working on decentralized intelligence, shared computing power. It's all getting quite sophisticated.
Like building blocks for a smarter, more transparent system.
That's a good way to put it. Projects like Bitsoar or The Graph, they're focused on real-world uses and transparency. Investors are noticing that.
So putting it all together, what's the practical takeaway for someone thinking about crypto right now in 2025?
Well, it means that while you still have to watch out for, big economic risks and regulations are still evolving, the tools are getting better. We're seeing growth in specific sectors like AI-related crypto projects and new indices focused on them. Options like the CCI 30 index, tracking the top 30 coins, or even Ethereum-focused ETFs like ETHA, they offer a more systematic approach.
Maybe more suitable for longer-term planning, like retirement savings.
Potentially, yes. It lets you tap into broader trends without having to actively manage individual coins day to day. That's a big deal for making crypto more accessible.
Okay, let's shift gears from digital assets to personal well-being, something I think we could all use more of, mental wellness. Our next headline is from CNET, found on MSN.com. 8 hobbies that can boost your mental wellness this summer.
What kind of activities are we talking about? And is there actual science behind this?
Yeah, it's interesting how simple but effective these suggestions are. A lot focus on the outdoors, things like gardening, just going for a walk. They really can reduce stress and promote relaxation.
Getting out in nature, basically. Exactly. Connecting with nature, it seems to directly lift your mood, reduce anxiety, depression symptoms. Walking is great because it boosts endorphins, those feel-good chemicals, and lowers cortisol, the stress hormone.
Right. It's like hitting a reset button sometimes. Much better than, say, scrolling on your phone.
Totally different feeling. And it doesn't have to be complicated. Other ideas they mentioned were things like canoeing, pottery making, even just attending local festivals.
So getting physically engaged, but also stimulating the mind. And socially.
Right. It's that combination. Plus, they mentioned things like earthing or grounding.
Walking barefoot.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And watching sunrises. Activities meant to be calming, reconnecting you.
That brings up a question for me.
Yeah.
What about novelty? Does trying something new play a special role here for mental health?
That's a great point. Novelty is important. It keeps your brain engaged, motivated. Trying new things stimulates learning, breaks up the monotony, which can be, a real drain mentally. It provides a bit of excitement, a sense of accomplishment when you learn something new. That really boosts happiness.
And there's science backing this up.
Oh, yeah. Hobbies are well documented to reduce stress, anxiety, depression. They can increase dopamine, improve mood, promote relaxation, mindfulness. All good stuff.
Okay, tell me more about this earthing or grounding.
Yeah.
How does that fit in and why should we consider it?
So earthing or grounding is about making direct physical contact with the earth, like you said, walking barefoot on grass or sand. The idea or the belief is that it helps reduce stress, promotes relaxation. While proponents say it improves mood, might reduce inflammation, even improve sleep. Maybe by balancing the body's electrical charge, reducing effects of chronic stress. It ties into that broader idea of combining physical and mental wellness. Getting outside, moving your body, it all helps. Better mood, better focus, less anxiety.
And what about making a summer bucket list? Does just planning things actually help, or is it just wishful thinking if you're busy?
No, it can genuinely help. Creating a list provides structure, motivation. It gets you thinking about things that actually bring you joy. The planning and anticipation itself can boost your mood, gives you something to look forward to.
Breaks the routine.
Exactly. Breaks the routine, reduces stress, maybe creates chances to socialize. So, yeah, the anticipation can be almost as good as the thing itself sometimes.
All right, let's tackle another common consumer question, this time about something we all use every day. Water. This headline's from U.S. News and World Report. Is one type of water healthier than another? Here's what experts say. Okay, let's get into it. Alkaline water. What's the real story? Does it live up to the hype?
Yes, alkaline water. Look, the marketing is heavy on this one, claims about better hydration, digestion, reducing disease risk. But the key thing to know is that strong scientific evidence backing most of these claims is, well, it's pretty limited.
So mostly hype.
For the general population, largely yes. Some small studies might show a potential benefit, maybe slightly better hydration for athletes after intense exercise, for instance. But overall, not much solid proof it's significantly better than regular clean water. Many claims lean towards pseudoscience, unfortunately. The main difference is just the pH level. Alkaline water is less acidic.
Right. Higher pH.
But your body is incredibly good at regulating its own pH. It has systems for that. So drinking alkaline water doesn't really change your body's overall pH balance in any meaningful way for most healthy people.
So experts generally say.
Generally, they say save your money. Safe tap water or regular bottled water is perfectly fine for hydration and health. No need to seek out alkaline specifically for pH.
Interesting. But the source mentioned one study, I think, on metabolic syndrome risk factors. That sounded potentially significant, even if preliminary.
Yes, you're right. There was that one study. It involved about 300 postmenopausal women. It suggested those drinking alkaline water had lower risk factors for metabolic syndrome, things like better grip strength, sleeping longer.
But you said preliminary.
Absolutely. Crucial qualifier. These are early findings. We need much more research to see if these benefits hold up and apply more broadly. And you have to consider potential downsides, too. While generally safe, some wonder if regularly altering stomach acidity could affect digestion long-term. Plus, it's usually more expensive and often comes in plastic bottles, which isn't great environmentally.
So how did it get so popular then, if the evidence is shaky?
Good question. It started gaining traction in places like Japan and East Asia, then spread to the U.S. and Europe. A lot of it comes down to really effective marketing that tapped into that growing interest in health and wellness trends.
People looking for an edge, maybe.
Exactly. But the health professional consensus hasn't really changed. No strong evidence for major benefits. Stick to regular safe water.
And just to be clear, for athletes or people who work out a lot, does it really make a difference in performance or recovery?
Again, some studies hinted it might improve hydration or blood flow after exercise compared to regular water. Right. Might. The findings aren't conclusive. More research is definitely needed there, too, before anyone can say it gives a significant edge. So probably not worth stressing over.
Okay, moving from our water bottles to the grocery cart. This one's a classic dilemma. Organic versus conventional. Headline from News 18. Does healthy cooking stop at organic vegetables? This is a big one. What are the core differences in how they're grown?
The fundamental difference is the philosophy, really. Organic farming aims for ecological balance, biodiversity. It uses natural inputs, avoids synthetic pesticides, synthetic fertilizers, GMOs, growth hormones.
What do they use for pests then?
Naturally derived things like garlic extract, bicarbonate of soda, beneficial insects. The whole goal is sustainability, building healthy soil. Conventional farming, on the other hand, allows for a wider range of those synthetic inputs to manage pests and boost yields.
Okay, so less synthetic stuff on organic. Does that translate to being significantly healthier or safer? What does the science say?
Well, you definitely get lower exposure to pesticide residues with organic produce. Research confirms that. One study found residues on 86% of conventional samples versus only 40% of organic ones. And conventional samples were more likely to exceed maximum allowed levels.
So less pesticide exposure is clear.
Yes. And some studies suggest organic consumers tend to eat more plant-based foods generally, which is healthy in itself. And this is the scientific literature overall doesn't conclusively say organic food is substantially safer or healthier than conventional food across the board. Now, there are some associated nutritional benefits linked to organic, higher antioxidants in some cases, certain vitamins, maybe more omega-3s, lower cadmium, lower saturated fats sometimes, and there have been some interesting findings. Correlations with reduced risk of preeclampsia in mothers, eczema in infants, even fewer cases of non-Hodgkin lymphoma linked to high organic food consumption, possibly due to lower pesticide exposure.
Interesting links, but still mostly associations, not proven cause and effect.
Largely associations, yes. Need more research to confirm direct causation for many of these.
Got it. But what about the farmer side and the price we pay? Why is organic often so much more expensive?
Yeah, that's the challenge. Organic farming often has higher production costs. Yields can sometimes be lower, and it's usually more labor-intensive because you can't just spray synthetic chemicals easily. Meeting the strict organic standards takes more effort and resources, and that cost gets passed on to us, the consumers.
So ultimately then, given the higher cost, is it always the better choice to go organic, especially if it means maybe buying fewer veggies overall?
That's the crucial question, and the consensus advice is generally this. While organic means less pesticide residue, the most important thing for your health is eating a lot of fruits, vegetables, and grains, and a wide variety of them.
Regardless of whether they're organic or conventional.
Exactly. Getting enough servings of produce overall should be the top priority. Don't let the organic label become a barrier if it means you eat less healthy food overall. Access and quantity matter most.
Okay, one last topic for today. Perfect for summer, pool time. But what about our hair? This headline is from USA Today. Does chlorine damage hair? Here's how to protect your hair. What exactly does chlorine do?
Chlorine's main effect is that it strips away the natural oils, the sebum, that protect your hair shaft. When those oils are gone, your hair gets dry, frizzy, the cuticle roughs up, making it more porous.
More vulnerable to damage.
Exactly. And discoloration, you might notice dryness, maybe your color looks dull, split ends, breakage, and sometimes that infamous greenish tint on light hair.
Right. So how do we fight back? What can we do before and after swimming?
Okay, prevention first. Before you jump in, coat your hair with a leave-in conditioner or even some natural oil like coconut, olive, or jojoba oil. This creates a barrier.
Like pre-treating it.
Yes. And wetting your hair with clean, non-chlorinated water first can also help, so it absorbs less pool water. Wearing a swim cap is obviously very effective too. Then, after swimming, rinse your hair immediately with fresh water. Use a clarifying shampoo, maybe once a week or so if you swim often, to really remove buildup. And follow up with a good, deep conditioner to restore moisture.
Does chlorine actually cause hair loss, though? That's a common fear.
Not directly, no. It doesn't typically cause hair to fall out from the root. But by making hair dry and brittle, it can definitely lead to more breakage, which might look like hair loss.
What about for those of us with color-treated hair? Is it even worse?
It can be, yeah. Color-treated hair is often more porous to begin with, so it can absorb more chlorine and lose color faster. Definitely use shampoos and conditioners specifically designed for color-treated hair, and be extra diligent with the pre-swim rinse and leave-in conditioner. The swim cap is probably your best friend here.
Okay, you mentioned the greenish tint. But the article says something surprising about that. It's not actually the chlorine.
Right. That's a super common misconception. The green tinge isn't directly from chlorine. It's usually caused by oxidized metals in the pool water, especially copper.
Copper, like from pipes.
Exactly. Or sometimes from algicides used in the pool. The chlorine can make your hair more porous, which then allows these copper particles to bind to the hair shaft more easily, causing that green color.
Wow, okay, so it's the metals and chlorine makes it worse. Good to know.
And if you're looking for natural remedies, those oils, coconut, olive, jojoba, are great for protection. Some people use things like aloe vera or apple cider vinegar rinses afterwards to help restore pH balance and moisture. And just regular deep conditioning is always a good idea if you're swimming a lot.
Wow. Okay. We really covered some ground today, didn't we? From crypto complexities to decoding water claims, organic labels, and even protecting our hair. That was a great deep dive into those consumers.app insights. And I think we definitely answered whether hobbies can make you happier than gadgets. Sounds like a clear yes. It really hammers home how important critical thinking is for everything we buy and do.
It absolutely does. If you connect the dots, it just underscores how vital it is to question things, to look beyond the surface claims, whether it's an investment, a health product, or even just how you spend your free time. It's about consuming information wisely, not just product.
Well said. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. We hope you found it useful. So as you go about your week, maybe think about this. What other common consumer assumptions in your life might be worth questioning a little more deeper? And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe Consumers 360 for more valuable insights like these.